All right, we got more buy low dynasty trade targets for you today. We are bringing you buy low quarterbacks. Okay,
QBs.
The most valuable position, arguably, in Superflex dynasty leagues. We're going to give you 2 quarterbacks each that we view as true buy lows right now. Okay, so my first quarterback is Jordan Love. I have made a video before about my love for Jordan Love, so I'm going to continue to just powder on that love for my guy. So let's talk about how he's kind of fallen as far as his value in Dynasty, right? The Packers selected him first in the first round of the 2020 NFL draft. Then he sat. And then literally wasn't even the backup for the first year, right? And then this last year, he did serve as a backup for the team. Okay. During that whole Aaron Rodgers debacle. And it's been this way for 2 years. It's hard to say that a team has messed up more for a young quarterback than Jordan Love so far. I mean, maybe you could argue Washington because we screw up every quarterback. But that being said, reports are coming out now that the Packers don't believe in him. Again, what reports are real in the offseason, what reports aren't? Who knows? I mean, I don't really know at this point, but that report was something that came out. So his value right now, I feel he's a very easy person to target in trades. But let me tell you why I still kind of believe in Jordan Love. All right, he had 1 start this year versus Kansas City. That was versus the Chiefs there in week 9. He was 19 of 34, 190 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. Showed some flashes in the air and on the ground, but he also showed that there was some molding left to do in Jordan Love's game.
Yeah, no doubt.
He also played in the second half of week 18 versus Detroit. You have to keep in mind, pretty much all the starters were pulled from the second half because the Packers really didn't have anything to play for at that point. They already had the number 1 seed all locked up. So it was a bunch of second, third stringers, especially on the offensive line. And in that game, he was 10 of 17 for 134 yards, a touchdown, and 2 interceptions. 2 interceptions. The stats just don't really look good. Okay, but let's bring some context there, because if you actually watch these games, and just to bring some clarity, I watched both of these games for the video and I watched every snap. So I was able to see exactly what happened in these games.
Right, okay.
The first interception that took place was completely not Jordan Love's fault. He threw a perfect ball. It was a slant route by Amari Rodgers. He threw a perfect ball literally right into Amari Rodgers' chest. And I kid you not, Amari literally just gave it, almost like on a platter, to the defender. So that one was not his fault. That was actually a perfect ball from him. The second interception was his fault. Okay, it was a combination of the terrible offensive line that was in there. Again, the offensive line was second, third stringers versus Detroit's first stringer defensive line, if you will. So there was a lot of pressure. He threw off of his back foot. And yeah, that was probably his fault. Definitely needs to work on that. Not, I guess freaking out under pressure. He needs some more composure in that area. I loved watching his film in both these games because you can see the potential. Okay. What if he was named the starter? This is the questions I was asking myself. What if he was given an entire offseason to fully establish himself as the guy, build the chemistry with the starters and the offense? And what could that actually look like? Because I saw flashes of why he was a first-round pick. And then that brought me back to the 2020 draft. And I said to myself, why was everyone so high on Jordan Love? Okay. Number one, let's not forget that he was drafted in the first round of the 2020 draft. Okay. Broke out as a sophomore over at Utah State. He has the body. He's 6'4". He has the arm, massive arm strength, mobility to extend plays. I mean, he has everything that you want from a modern day NFL quarterback, has all the intangibles, if you will. He was actually labeled the highest upside quarterback by almost every analyst that year. And that was a class with Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Tua, and Jalen Hurts. So safe to say, he's never going to be Joe Burrow or Justin Herbert, right? Yeah, but he was still 100%. Viewed that way as a prospect, labeled with the highest upside. So you can understand why a team would have wanted to take a chance on him. Secondly, a reason why I still believe in him is he has had 2 years to sit behind one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I don't see how that could hurt his game. I don't see how more time learning behind Aaron Rodgers could potentially hurt him. I remember another quarterback who learned under a great Aaron Rodgers to Brett Favre, right? So it didn't hurt him either. And the other thing I wanted to say is, look, change is coming however it looks. All right. Does Aaron Rodgers sign a 2 to 3 year contract here with the Green Bay Packers?
I don't know.
If he does do that, then it would make literally no sense for Jordan Love to be on this team because they have a 5th year option on him. They're not going to spend that money on a backup. It just doesn't make sense. You trade him away, you get some sort of value. So if Rodgers stays, he gets an opportunity somewhere, and you have a starting quarterback on your team if you trade for him, right?
Right. Okay.
If Rodgers goes, then he stays in a great system that has shown that it can develop quarterbacks, and he gets the same coach that helped develop Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers stepped into that role.
The
same quarterback coach.
The Packers need to rip the Band-Aid off and be like, you know what, Aaron Rodgers, thank you so much.
They need to just make a decision at some point. But, regardless, he's going to get a shot. I genuinely do believe that he will get a shot as a starting quarterback in the NFL, and he's only 23 years old. If you own him in Dynasty, you should feel really, really good about having Jordan Love on your bench. Now, if you don't, I feel like he is a very, very good buy low opportunity, okay? I would send a mid to late second in the 2022 class to acquire Jordan Love in Superflex leagues. Again, we always need to look at the 2022 class when we're talking about trades. Is there a quarterback I would prefer over Jordan Love in this class? Maybe Malik Willis. That's it.
Okay.
And if I'm an NFL team, by the way, put Jordan Love in this class. He's probably the second quarterback off the board, in my opinion. He probably comes off after Malik Willis. So I think there's enough talent there for him to have a starting job, and I think he can continue to develop into a good quarterback in the league. We are all low on him because you haven't seen much of him. But
100%.
I don't think there's enough to be out on him, and I think it presents a really good buy low.
Yeah, I love Jordan Love moving forward. I have him on a couple of my teams, so I love the take. My first buy low player. We're going home, baby. Danny Dimes with the New York Football Giants. If you don't know, I'm a New York Football Giants fan, so I'm trying to be unbiased as possible, but I'm going to give you what I know, okay? The biggest question is for Danny Dimes, is Joe Shane and Brian Dable enough? Are they going to do the same thing for Daniel Jones that they did for Josh Allen? We don't know. Obviously, they had years to do that with Josh Allen, and hypothetically, this is going to be 1 year for Daniel Jones. Right. So the answer is that we hope that they can do somewhat of the same thing in less than a year or a year and some change. Okay, Daniel Jones is talented. He wasn't like the make or break quarterback. He wasn't like, this is a decent quarterback that maybe shouldn't have gone in the top 6, top 8 in the draft, but maybe he would have been a good value if you would have got him late first or early second. Okay. Yep. And this is in the real NFL draft, not the actual draft. Okay. Let's look at what happened with Daniel Jones in the past. And this has been said publicly by owners, by head coaches, that they have done everything possible to not help Daniel Jones succeed with the offensive line, with the weapons around him, everything. New head coaches for the past 3 years. It's not okay. 2021, the offensive line was terrible. Okay, 30th ranked offensive line according to PFF's, third worst in 2021. Okay, in his first year as a true starter in 2020, who was around him? Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Golden Tate, Saquon when he tore his ACL. He had nobody. He was throwing to
Vince Papale.
Honestly, that's who he was throwing to. He was throwing to somebody that was trying to be Vince Papale for the Giants, and it wasn't happening, okay? Yeah. And then the biggest question was the turnovers is terrible for Daniel Jones. 2019, 30 turnovers, missed 3 games. 2020 gets a little bit better, 21 turnovers, misses 2 games. And then 2021, his lowest so far, 14, but he did miss 6 games with that neck injury, obviously. So look, this is obviously probably the numbers look good because he was injured.
He missed games,
but
he didn't have a chance to throw more.
Exactly. You hope that he can improve once he has a full season on the ground, on the field with the Giants. Okay, so the reason why I'm buying low is because let's look at the true situation. Once again, we hope that this coaching staff and the staff around him is going to bring him up in this year. Okay, you hope that maybe if he does win 8-9 games, hopefully, that, you know what, we saw a glimpse of what Daniel Jones can do, and maybe we should re-sign him or get that 5th-year contract, even though they haven't done that. So there is an opportunity for you to invest in Daniel Jones and for the Giants. Okay. Second, what's happening around him once again? Who are the weapons? They brought in Kenny G, someone that can't stay healthy. Hopefully he can stay healthy this year. Kadarius Toney, who was an explosive rookie that we saw go crazy against the Cowboys. If Saquon Barkley doesn't get traded, they have Saquon, and I do believe they will either get a rookie and an offensive weapon and better offensive line in this 2022
You have to get
NFL
offensive
draft.
line in this class.
There is no doubt. Okay, and once again, let's not forget about Daniel Jones' rushing upside. He can use his legs. Who uses his legs in Buffalo was Josh Allen. Who was coaching him? Who was offensive coordinator? Brian Dable. So they're going to use Daniel Jones's legs. At least I hope they do. Okay, so the rushing upside is there. And once again, we saw a glimmer of hope in the 2021 class or 2021 season. When the beginning of the season, from weeks 1 to 4, he had the highest passing grade in week 4 through week 4. He was QB6. A little glimmer of hope for Daniel Jones.
For sure.
But if that, I'm holding on to that. As a Daniel Jones believer, as a Giants fan, as a non-biased Giants fan, I am looking at the good, just like we do for every other player. So for me, I am trying to get Daniel Jones as low as possible right now. Nobody thinks they're going to re-sign him, which I honestly I don't think so. But I'm willing to take that chance if I can get him as low, according to Keep Trade Cut, where we like to use some sort of a guide. They're asking for a lot of
crowdsourcing.
Yeah, they're asking for a mid-second. I think you can get way less than that. I'm not spending a mid-second on Daniel Jones because I do believe there is some talent in this draft that I would rather have. Okay, so if I was you, I'm trying to see if I can go low ball for Daniel Jones right now. Hey, you want an early third, 301? You know, the 212 maybe, the 211. See what you can get for Daniel Jones. Maybe he can be a good flex, QB2 or maybe a QB3 on your team because maybe you do have an Aaron Rodgers. Maybe you need another quarterback, or somebody that you don't really believe in as a quarterback. Why not go and get Daniel Jones right now on the low? Because I believe, as a New York Giants fan, that Daniel Jones could be successful.
It's interesting. Hey, Daniel Jones is one of the most difficult players to gauge in the NFL because there are games I'll watch and I'm thinking to myself, geez, like Daniel Jones, he could be the guy.
Yeah.
And then there's other games where I'm like, who the hell is playing at quarterback? Like, what is going on? It is a mixed bag, but to be honest, I do think that Daniel Jones can improve. So we'll see. They did everything wrong. You're right. So it's a good buy low there. All right, my second buy low quarterback is Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua Tags.
Another quarterback that I've advocated for throughout this offseason.
I love this one.
Let's talk about why he's a buy low. Okay, when he was drafted in 2020, I know, friendly reminder, drafted ahead of Justin Herbert, even though some people in the organization wanted Herbert. What can you do? Okay, but when he was drafted, according to Keep Trade Cut, again, we only use him for crowdsourcing because they have a bunch of crowdsourcing information. But at that time, after the draft, he was the quarterback 9 in everyone's dynasty rankings, or according to crowdsourcing. Okay. Since then, he's been ranked as low as the quarterback 25, and he is now currently the quarterback 20 in most people's rankings. Right. So you can see how there is a true buy low opportunity for here, and I'm going to tell you exactly why I still believe in him. All right, number one, we've already seen improvement from 2020 to 2021. All right, his pass completion percentage in 2020 was 64%. Guys, that is very good. 64% is already good. Then he comes back and one-ups it at 67.8%. This is one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the NFL. Don't believe me? Well, let me give you some more information, okay? Yes, there's definitely areas that Tua can improve on. However, he was one of the most efficient quarterbacks in 2021. You could actually put him in the top 3 in that category, okay? 9th in true completion percentage, which factors out unpressured throwaways and drop passes. Okay, 9th in true completion percentage. 4th in play action completion percentage. The 3rd highest accuracy rating in the NFL, according to Player Profiler. Essentially, they rate each pass on a scale of 1 to 10. If you get an 8 overall, then you are elite. Tua was an 8 when it comes to accuracy. He had the highest deep ball completion percentage in 2021. That's on throws of 20 yards or more. and the highest red zone completion percentage. Okay. So this is all, again, according to Player Profiler, a great resource over there for you to use if you're looking for efficiency and stats. And again, we're talking about one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the NFL already. Okay. And all that through the last 2 years, constantly being questioned and scrutinized if he was even the guy there, if they even believed in him. He's already had to face so much adversity through Ryan Fitzpatrick performing really well, through the questions about Deshaun Watson, okay? And he's done all this, by the way, behind one of the worst offensive lines in the NFL. In fact, the worst offensive line in the NFL, according to PFF this last year, okay? A league leading 235 pressures from this offensive line this year, okay? And for me, my opinion, the firing of Brian Flores, don't agree with it, but it sent a very clear message that Tua was the guy, because that's where the conflict was. Brian Flores wanted Watson. The ownership wanted to ride with Tua. All the great things we've heard Mike McDaniels now say about Tua, like, you should feel very, very confident. And why wouldn't the organization stick with him? Like, he hasn't shown them that he's not the guy yet. He's been 13-8 as a starter, which is very respectable for someone's first 2 seasons. And he's young as well. So look, if you're looking for a young quarterback who could get better, who could be this way on the chart instead of a downward chart, I think Tua is a great option. So again, we have to consider the class of 2022. There isn't a quarterback, for me at least, that I would draft over Tua in real life or in Dynasty. Okay, so for me, I don't see a quarterback. Wherever you're planning on spending a quarterback for in this year's class, go get Tua instead, in my opinion.
Right.
What I think it might cost is the 107 or below. I think the 107 gets the job done for you, and I think that's really, really good value. Or how about this? Trade away Jalen Hurts. You know I'm not a big Jalen Hurts believer. Trade away Jalen Hurts and get Tua plus a late 2022 second, right? This is a deal that you can actually make happen. I'm very confident that Hurts is not going to outlast Tua as a starter in the NFL. So go get Tua.
Yeah, love Tua. Move forward. I completely agree with everything you said. He's still young. This past year was basically his rookie year as well.
Yeah.
So it showed that he can improve and be successful if he had a full year.
If you didn't see what you need to see in that 7-game win streak, I mean, I saw exactly what I need to see. Very impressive.
I agreed. My last and final buy low player here, quarterback, is Davis Mills. Okay, Texans players need love too. Okay?
The general.
100%. Look, he's been overlooked. Obviously, the whole stuff with, Deshaun Watson and what's going to happen, who's the quarterback. Is Deshaun going to play this year or this past year? Is he going to play this year? What are they going to get? So I think it's just been overlooked. Coming into the league, Davis Mills was the worst quarterback in the 2021 draft class, okay, amongst all his peers. Trevor Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, Trey Lance. He was, quote unquote, the worst, which is funny because he turned out to be the second best rookie quarterback in this past year in 2021. Yeah. Mac Jones was first with the 51 QBR playing, or QBR, okay? Davis Mills was had a 37% QBR. That's above Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. He was doing it. He was doing this thing, okay? And I think he's going to continue. I think he's going to continue to improve. And the question is, moving forward, who's going to be the quarterback? Is Davis Mills going to truly be the quarterback? Are they going to draft a quarterback? I personally don't believe so. Why? Because they're still trying to swindle that deal with Deshaun Watson. And if you do need a 1-year quarterback potentially, maybe a 2-year, because maybe they don't get a quarterback in this year's draft, or maybe they do win too many games next year where they can't get one of these good quarterbacks in the 2023 class. So why not maybe invest in him just a little bit? Okay. They did hire Love Smith. All reports saying that he's backing Davis Mills moving forward, and he likes what he did on the field. Let's look back at 2021 and what Davis Mills actually did on the field. Okay. From weeks 14 to 18, Mills was a QB 18. Okay. He threw 9 touchdowns. QB 10, excuse me. Threw 9 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Okay. That was the best in that stretch amongst all quarterbacks. Amongst all the rookie quarterbacks, okay? And for me, I think moving forward, once again, like I said, I don't think they're going to be investing in another quarterback in this year. They're going to wait, maybe invest in 2023, but that all depends on where they land, how many games they're going to win. So let's look at who's around him, who's going to help him. Okay. I do believe they're going to draft some talent around him, maybe get hypothetically Amari Cooper. They're going to have to bring in some talent as well. But let's look at the talent they have already. Nico Collins, Brevin Jordans, Brandon Cooks, and like I said, another young wide receiver or a young running back in this draft. So there's going to be some good pieces around him. And the offensive line was the middle of the pack. Wasn't terrible. Yeah. It was the middle of the pack offense. Bad. So give him another year to improve. Maybe he is a dark horse. Maybe you don't need to invest in another quarterback unless you do lose games and you're in the top 5. Then that's a whole different conversation. But once again, for me, if I'm going to get Davis Mills, try to get him on the low. Once again, we like to look at the crowdsourcing websites. They're saying mid-second. I'm not going mid-second. No way. I love the talent, kind of like Daniel Jones. I like the talent that's in the 2022 draft class. See how low you can get him for. I'm not spending more than a late second on, and late second means 210, 211, 212, 301. That's where I'm going to take a chance on Davis Mills. Maybe throw in a piece. Throw in a small person that maybe you don't really believe in or you don't think will be successful moving forward, and see if you can take a chance getting a Davis Mills, having a quarterback depth. Once again, if you have an Aaron Rodgers, maybe you need Davis Mills because it's the question marks. We don't know. Is he going to retire? He's going to come back? Whatever the case may be, I like Davis Mills moving forward in this 2022 buy low. Yeah.
Obviously, you get more than just a straight swap for Rodgers. Davis Mills is interesting, man. I mean, there's no guarantee that he's not the starter either. Like, there's no guarantee he's
a risk for sure.
The future. But there's also no guarantee that he's not the future. Like, we don't know either way. And I think that's a very good point because he could be a really, really good buy low right now. I'll say this. If he goes out and puts up similar numbers, but you extrapolate that for the entire year, he'll be worth more next year than he is now. And don't doubt Lovie Smith. I mean, Lovie Smith can rally a team. He can rally people together to get some wins. So even if Davis Mills turns out to be a top 20 quarterback in the NFL next year and they don't have a chance at a quarterback, you could still have a starting quarterback on your team and virtually have given up nothing for him. So I like it.
I agree. I completely agree. And last thing for me is that if they win more than 7 games, which could or maybe not happen,
I think people are underestimating the team. I mean, they won a lot of games they weren't supposed to win last year.
Exactly. So I think if they do win at least 6 or 7 games, I do believe they could be out of the running in the top 5 or 6, where those quarterbacks, those true quarterbacks, potentially could be gone by then. And maybe they don't have unless they move up. But that's going to be some more picks that they have to give up. So
there's also the possibility that they are the worst team. So who knows?
101 next year.
Yeah. All right, guys, let us know. Obviously, there is risk reward for all these trades, right? And we hope that you see where we're coming from. Comment down below if you like or dislike any of them.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.